What's up, guys? I'm Noob Genesis, and today I'm bringing you a gameplay on Domination on Strike Zone. This is quite an old gameplay. This one, I think I end up going like 50 plus, and it actually makes me quite interested because I don't play Domination much anymore because there's just camping bitches everywhere, but it makes me think that I am so much better at this game now than when I was at this point because I was still learning this point. This was probably in the first week of having the game. It'd be pretty interesting to see how I'd go if I kept playing some Domination, and I might have to try play some more Domination. So anyway, enough about that, on to the commentary. Now, what I want to talk to you today about is money and something that actually happened to me. And I only found out about it yesterday, but it happened to me a couple days ago. And I kind of want to talk to you about my mindset on money and my mindset as a person when it comes to worry or stress or financial troubles and all that crap. And anyway, so I'll start off with what happened to me. So basically, the other day, someone was going to put money into my bank account because they owed me a little bit of money. And they did do so. However, I didn't bother checking my bank when they did because I didn't really plan on spending anything. I didn't need the money immediately, so I just left it. I ended up checking my money the day after. And I went onto my bank account on the internet and I looked at it, and for some reason I was minus $80. Like, I couldn't figure it out. I had a positive balance, plus the person put the money into my bank, and I saw on the transaction they put the money into my bank. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm confused. And then I looked and there was overdrawn fees. And just to put this in perspective, it was like the 5th or 6th when I checked it, and then it was the 3rd when the overdrawn fees had started. And I couldn't figure out what the fuck happened. So I had to look through the list, and it turns out there was a whole bunch of transactions to PayPal. And I use PayPal for things like Steam, League of Legends, all sorts of like just gaming related stuff. I use PayPal, like most people, and I ended up like, what the fuck? What did I spend? I don't remember this. And I remember I did spend one thing, and so I went and checked my PayPal account. And I looked at my history for transactions, and there was all these transactions. Like, I made one transaction to Steam for a DLC package, and I looked at it, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. And then, apparently a few hours later, there was numerous transactions to people who had my last name, but were not related to me, and I did not know them at all. I looked at the email addresses, and it was obviously fake. At this point, it occurred to me my PayPal had actually been hacked. And my PayPal is connected directly to my bank, so, or at least to my bank card. And they'd obviously, like, drawn money, like, used PayPal to draw money from my bank to whatever they wanted to spend it on. And they sent it to numerous fake emails, kind of like, it's sort of a system of laundering, but really stupid because the paper trail is so damn obvious, you're an idiot if you try it. But anyway, so they did that, and at this point, a lot of people, they freak out, and they're like, oh shit, what do I do, what do I do? Oh my god, they've touched my money, like, they got access to all my money and all this stuff. Me, I'm not that type of person. I've always had this mindset and this philosophy that, okay, something's happened. Like, this is also at 3 AM, mind you, and PayPal and whatnot, they don't open until 6 to be able to call them and whatnot. And at this point, I'm just like, alright, well, I can't call PayPal for another 3 hours. Fuck stressing about it. Like, if I can't do something about it, how does worrying and helping help anything? Like, how does that solve my problem? Like, I've never understood people who, like, I remember I had an ex-girlfriend who, everything, she stressed out like crazy about everything. And it always, like, I'd never understood it because I'm like, well, how the fuck is this helping you? You're just getting in your own head and you're slowing yourself down. I never understood that about people. So me, I'm just chilled out, and I ended up going and playing a couple of games of COD and some League of Legends with Nova. And I'm like, alright, whatever. So anyway, part of this I want to talk about is how I got this way. And a lot of it has to do with, like, I want to talk about money. And I don't want people to get the wrong idea. The reason I don't stress about money has nothing to do with me having money. I don't have money. Like, I've never grown up around a lot of money. And I just realized, like, I'm like, oh no, wait, that's a 6. I thought it was 18 and 0. Anyway, back on topic. I've never grown up around much money, and I've never really been able to spend a lot of money. And a lot of people said that it's such a negative thing. Me, on the other hand, I see it as actually the opposite, and I think a lot more people need to look at life in this way. And the way I want to explain this is I want to tell you a bit of a story about how I used to live. So, when I was about 18, I lived with one of my best mates. And me and him, we didn't have much money. Didn't have much at all. And people would actually get kind of frustrated at us because they didn't understand how we could live on sandwiches and mee goreng. Which is, if you don't know what mee goreng is, you're missing out. But we literally, that's all we ever bought was that, and the rest of the money went to bills and booze for parties. And that's all we really spent, and we were happy with that. Like, we didn't care. We didn't need roasts or anything. We just wanted to have fun. And this actually stems back a little bit further. Back when I was 15, and this person was 16, we lived together then. That's when we first lived together. And we didn't actually live with our parents. Not that we didn't, like, talk to them or anything, it's just we didn't really live with them. We lived by ourselves, and we preferred the independence because we were kids. We wanted to have fun. We wanted to party. We wanted to do all this stuff. So, we were 15 and 16 without jobs, and we were just students at high school. And at this point, we have no money. Like, we are broke as fuck. We lived literally off sandwiches, and some nights we wouldn't even eat because we didn't have the money for it. And don't get me wrong, every now and then, it wasn't that our parents wouldn't help us, we never bothered, we didn't ask them for help. We didn't really want to ask them for help sometimes. And if we did, they probably would give us money. A little bit, if they could. But anyway, that's not really the point. So we ended up spending some nights where we were literally starving and there was literally nothing to eat. And the whole time, we still look back on those days as some of the best times of our life, like some of the most fun times. The place we lived at, we called it the cottage. And a lot of our friends remember the cottage. Like, we talk, like, this is now like 6 years later, and we still go, oh, I remember that time at the cottage, or I miss the cottage, or do you remember that party at the cottage? And a lot of it has to do with the fact that you don't need money to have fun. And the easiest way to explain this is, as I said, we didn't have food some nights. What we did have was a PlayStation, a Nintendo 64, and a DVD player, and 2 TVs in the lounge room. And we had quite a big couch too, which is pretty cool. So anyway, half of the time when we were at the cottage, we sat there with Scrubs on the DVD player on the small TV, and then either the Nintendo 64 or the PlayStation plugged into the big TV. Normally Nintendo 64 and normally always Super Smash Bros. The greatest game ever made, and if you disagree, fuck you. It is the greatest game ever. Anyway, we normally had people also over all the time. Like, we had people stay for like weeks at a time. We had our door open. Like, we never actually locked our door. People could just come over wherever we want, like whenever they wanted, and we didn't care. That was just fun. And this whole time, like, we didn't need the money. All we had to do was pay our bills and have a little bit of food every now and then. Or most nights we did have food, but sometimes we didn't, is what I mean. And we didn't ask for anything more. We didn't want anything more. We had some of the most enjoyable times of our lives just having the most minimal stuff possible, because we didn't focus on what we didn't have. We focused on the fun. We focused on what we did have. We made fun out of nothing. I remember one time at the cottage, we were bored at like 4 in the morning during winter, even though winter in Australia is not that big of a deal. So we're like, fuck, we need something to do. We ended up, this is going to sound creepy at first, but we ended up stripping down to our underwear and shoes, and we went up the street to the local park, and we went there just for a laugh, freezing fucking cold, and we ended up going down the slides and shit, and the slide was glazed in ice. I remember I went down it, because it was slippery, like, because of the ice, obviously. I slipped and smacked straight into the side and had little shards of ice. I ended up cutting my hip, because it was that freaking frosty. And it was so funny. But the thing is that didn't cost money. Like, we didn't need the money. It was just something. We created something out of nothing. And that's all we needed to do to get by. Was just make sure we're enjoying ourselves. And I feel a lot of people have lost this. In today's society, everyone is about the commercial. I wouldn't say industrial, I'd say commercial. Because everything is about capitalist, like getting as much capitalistic value out of everything you can. And it comes at a lot of compromise and sacrifice. And a lot of that sacrifice is enjoyment of life. And, like, so many people will say, life is short, you gotta do what you can with it. Then they don't fucking do anything with it. They go and work half their life for shit they don't, they don't enjoy their job. They do shit they don't want to do for their spare time. And the job that they're only doing it for money to spend on things they don't want. What the fuck kind of life is that? You don't need money to do things. So anyway, back onto the story. When it came down to this whole thing of my money had been touched and whatnot, I didn't stress out. I didn't care. I'm like, alright, fuck it. I ended up waiting the 3 hours and I called PayPal. I called my bank and, like, also don't get discouraged by PayPal. It happens and their automated system actually blocked the person from, like, my account from being able to do any transactions after the first few. Because it was suspicious behavior. But anyway, I called PayPal, I called the bank, and the PayPal said they're going to reverse it all, and they have. And I just got to wait a few days before the money gets put back into the account so I can put it back to my bank account. But anyway, the thing is it all got reversed. And at the end of the day, sure, it's an inconvenience if I needed or wanted to spend the money, but realistically, it's not the end of the world. I mean, it literally is just that. It's an inconvenience. It's all going to be back to the way it was, and no harm done. And it's like, if I had have stressed out about this whole situation, it could have taken me a lot longer to sort things out. I could have freaked out and done something stupid. You never know. You just got to take things one step at a time, take a breather, and just remember everything good. Just breathe. Keep calm. And I don't really think it relies that much back to Call of Duty, because I tend to like to make things about Call of Duty at the same time. But in a sense, if you're going for a clip, or if you're going for a KM or something, like, it's a good idea not to freak out. Like, obviously it's not easy, but why does freaking out help? I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think about the situation. And as I said, everything's all good now. It's just something I thought I'd share with you guys, because I thought it was quite interesting. But I hope you enjoyed the gameplay, and I hope you enjoyed the commentary, and I hope you don't try and take life too seriously. Just enjoy yourself. And a little fun fact, guys. When I say have fun at the end of my videos, I learned to say that at the cottage. I wouldn't say goodbye to people. I'd always just say, have fun. It's been something I've been saying since I was 15 years old. So there's a little fun fact for you. And as always, guys, have fun.